online. I'll follow that one. Without further ado, Nevins. Thank you.
Hi. Okay, so initially I was supposed to be the student speaker at commencement tomorrow morning, but I failed one class, making me 1 credit short. I am no longer graduating, and I am no longer commencement speaker. Once word got out that there was a new speaker, a number of students and alumni pushed the administration to let me speak anyways. It took a lot of effort to get me on this stage. Some say we acted with entitlement, that I don't deserve to speak because I failed to graduate, and I need to face the consequences of my actions. These people are right. I don't deserve to speak, and I did fail to graduate. There are also parts of this community who desire to hear me speak regardless of the fact that I'm 1 credit short. They are right too. They have a right to organize, to challenge institutional rules and procedures, and to be listened to by the administration. I've gone back and forth in my mind about whether or not I should do this speech, but I realize that there is no right or wrong answer. There is only choice. My classmates chose to organize and demand for me to speak, and I have chosen to give my speech out of respect for and appreciation of their efforts. There is no right or wrong answer, but I choose to believe that me speaking will lead to the better outcome. Pomona has taught me that my power lies in my decisions and my awareness. Specifically, how I choose to think, to behave, and to react. David Foster Wallace, a former Pomona College professor and famous writer, said, "You can choose what you pay attention to and how to construct meaning from experience." In the Pomona bubble, everyday experiences like eating in the dining hall or walking to class are filled with opportunities for social interaction, opportunities to reflect on the consequences of our decisions. Constant social interaction amplifies conflict because we are suffocated by each other whilst looking to each other for air. We depend on each other for company, for support, and for trust. We look to each other for tough love and for kindness, for sex, for excitement, for fun, and for empathy. But we also have a hard time escaping each other, especially when we're trying to escape rejection, exclusion, prejudice, or microaggressions. At Pomona, our lives are not our own. We are so interconnected that one student not graduating or giving a commencement speech has affected a myriad of relationships on campus between both students and faculty. One sentence in an America Pub Facebook event page can affect a social group's image. One student's article criticizing the administration's approach to mental health concerns can spark important discussions that may ultimately bring changes to our institutional policies, affecting future Pomona students. If all of this really is the case, then your lives are in my hands, and mine and yours, because it is these moments that shape who we are. The decisions we make, the decisions others make, and the meaning we construct from our experiences shape who we are and the lives of those around us. I've had a lot of choices to make and questions to ask myself during my 4 years here. Choices that reflect who I was in those moments and who I am today. For example, what choices do I make when someone is too drunk? How do I behave when I feel hopeless, unmotivated, incapable, worthless, depressed, and stuck in my room or in my bed or on the bathroom floor? Do I wallow in self-pity and abandon my classes or my responsibilities? Do I rely on drugs or alcohol to make me feel alive and happy? Do I rely excessively on company and friendship to make me feel important or to make my life feel meaningful? Do I tell my friends, my family, my professors, or other faculty what I'm experiencing, or do I hide under a veil of happiness and sociability? What do I say when my friend confides in me that they've been sexually assaulted, or that they're struggling with an eating disorder, or depression, maybe their sexuality, or poverty? How do I face the feeling that many of the men on this campus are either not attracted to me or intimidated by my blackness, and so they resort to staring? How do I face the fact that as a Black woman, my beauty and my body are not appreciated nearly as much as the beauty and bodies of other women on campus, especially white women? What do I say to my white friends when they dismiss my feelings about being a Black woman in the world or a woman of color on this campus? Or when they laugh at the idea of white supremacy as if it doesn't exist and I'm just making it all up? How do I support my friend who is subject to transphobia and microaggressions on a daily basis because he is gender nonconforming, because straight men won't look him in the eye or acknowledge his presence when he walks into a room? Looking back at all the choices I've had to make here, I've seen that being educated about social problems can really inform my decisions in ways that lead to a better outcome. They allow me to recognize microaggressions that others may be experiencing so that I can provide intellectual support and maybe even intervene in difficult situations. I've seen that choosing to communicate feelings rather than holding them in can resolve tensions and conflicts that would otherwise build up and then blow up. I've seen that being considerate of others' time, others' emotions, and others' experiences can really strengthen trust in my relationships. I've seen that sacrificing my time to support a friend can save their day, and maybe even their life. I've seen that finding the courage to be my non-conventional, outspoken, and open self can inspire the people around me. I've seen that choosing empathy when conversing with those who think and feel differently allows me to react with compassion rather than anger or dislike. And I've seen that choosing to organize for a cause and demand institutional changes can have tangible results. And I've learned that choosing to love myself and to learn about Black history feels way better than hoping to get attention at pub on a Wednesday night. When I started taking Black Studies courses at the Claremont colleges, I began to see more clearly the links between situations I was finding myself in and the histories of oppression I was becoming more aware of. I learned about the origins of white supremacy and its development from a scientific theory into a cultural ideology that now lies at the core of our nation's infrastructure, producing and maintaining a sort of social hierarchy that is reinforced by media, science, education, law, public policy, and economics. I learned that coupled with white supremacist ideology was patriarchy, homophobia, capitalism, and imperialism. I learned that white supremacists and patriarchal social scientists who pathologized women and people of color informed public policy decisions that pushed us further into the margins. I realized that underlying all these systems of oppression is the exclusion of non-white, non-male, non-heterosexual perspectives from our academic, scholarly, and cultural paradigms. I learned that all movements to challenge the prevailing social order have been infiltrated and destroyed, and their leaders exiled, discredited, or murdered by covert government programs operated by people we have been taught to admire, like J. Edgar Hoover. I learned that segments of these movements existed at Pomona College, including sit-ins and protests for a Black Studies department, which then led to Chicano Studies, Asian American Studies, Gender Studies, and Queer Studies. But I also realized that there can never be justice on stolen land, that the histories, experiences, and perspectives of Indigenous communities remain invisible and left out by all of us. I realized that all oppression is connected, and institutional racism, homophobia, patriarchy, ableism, classism, the list goes on, even high rates of eating disorders, depression, and sexual assault are rooted in the confinement of social constructs like beauty and gender and value into these tiny little categories that most of us do not fit into, while many of us spend our lives trying to maintain or improve our position in the social hierarchy. We are led to believe that there is only one way to learn, one way to teach, one way to contribute to society, one way to be able-bodied, one way to be beautiful, one kind of intelligence, and one kind of success, while institutions reinforce these beliefs. At the end of the day, all of our minds and our bodies have been colonized, brainwashed, because there is no one way. There is only perspective. If you spend your life only knowing one perspective, you limit your capacity to see and understand others, to offer them your compassion, and to come together in unity. You limit your capacity to truly love the diverse community that is around you, and you limit your capacity to invest in the evolution of your community. Knowing all of this, I asked my classmates, what kinds of decisions are you going to make after May 18th? Are they going to be aware and conscious? Are you going to embrace and get to know people who live on the margins? People you're not usually encouraged to embrace, but who will nonetheless expand your understanding of the human experience? Are you going to choose to make your thoughts compassionate and your behavior loving, even when you feel angry or hurt or violated? David Foster Wallace also said, "It is unimaginably hard to stay conscious day in and day out." This is true. Conscious living is a difficult journey, not a destination. But I have found the inspiration to do this daily work in the Pomona College community that is right here in front of me. Today is a day for celebration of every triumph over the status quo, every attempt to make different, more conscious and more aware decisions. Today we celebrate the attempts we've made to decolonize our minds. Today we celebrate those of us committed to changing the everyday language we use into something more inclusive, something more considerate of the violent historical context in which certain language arises and is used. Today we celebrate all the white people who have actively tried to understand and unpack their privilege, who realize that recognition and understanding of their privilege gives them the insight and power to intervene, to help liberate those of us still caught in the margins. Let us celebrate those of us who have struggled for years. Let us celebrate those of us who have struggled through 4 years of feeling invisible and maybe even undesirable, who struggle to find solidarity and appreciate this place at the same time. Let us celebrate the men who have unraveled their privilege and subverted their own patriarchal socialization. Let us celebrate the bravery, beauty, and diversity of the queer community. Let us celebrate the administration and student government that focuses on retributive policies rather than punitive ones, like the new drug and alcohol policy that replaces fines with community service. Let's celebrate the efforts to accommodate students who struggle with mental health rather than kick them out. Even when it comes to this speech, the administration listened to students and made a compromise. Pomona College sets precedents. We're not perfect, but we are progressive. Let us celebrate those of us who have organized and protested for dining hall workers to unionize, or for our endowment to be divested out of fossil fuel corporations that violate human rights. Let us celebrate every time we failed and failed and failed, but chose to continue living. Today, we celebrate a Pomona College community of dissidents, of activists, of scholars, of leaders, of troublemakers, of radicals, pacifists, visionaries, and revolutionaries. Today we celebrate the fighters, those of us who've pushed ourselves and this community to be conscious day in and day out, because we are the people that the world is going to follow.
Yes.
Thank you.